Echoes in the Dark, Creative Critical Reflection, created by Shanti, Germain. Contents: conventions and social groups. 2. Audience and media text. 3. Production skills. 4. Integrating technologies. How does your product use or challenge conventions, and how does it represent social groups or issues? For certain, my product uses or challenges conventions. The convention can be challenged by following the convention at the very minimum, taking the convention standards as a suggestion. For example, the category of my product's genre is horror comedy. The conventions of horror comedy usually varies from dark atmospheres, discomfort, large text, and red text. My product only varies or only follows bold text, humor, and large titles, allowing to have space for creativity and to have a free range instead of strictly following the conventions. Is how conventions were challenged in Echoes in the Dark. It showed social groups like a shy girl and a group of confident mean bullies. This addresses the issue of bullying. Analyze your title sequence and explain your decisions regarding mise-en-scene, cinematography, editing, sound, and titles, etc. The title sequence of Echoes in the Dark creates a horror comedy tone through eerie school imagery mixed with humorous details, dimly lit hallways to create haunting atmosphere, while moments like a group of dark figures following a girl and pulling her hair, which adds comedy. Cinematography uses slow tracking shots to build suspense, only to subvert expectations with comedic reveals. Fast-paced editing heightens tension with sudden jump cuts. Sound design blends eerie sounds with exaggerated noises like loud walking sounds. Titles appear in a fading, bold font while enhancing spooky yet playful mood. These elements, the sequence introduces the film's unique mix of horror and comedy. Example of using or challenged genre conventions. This shot is an example of the film using horror comedy's convention. It uses conventions of dark filter/atmosphere and challenges genre conventions by showing that using little conventions might be best. Conventions in horror comedy: dark humor, using morbid or unsettling situations as basis for jokes, often with clinical or ironic twists. Awareness: characters acknowledge the absurdity of the situation, sometimes even breaking fourth wall to comment on horror tropes that they're experiencing. Physical comedy, employing physical gags and slapstick humor to relieve the tension and deliver laughs, often involving exaggerated reactions to scary situations. Exaggerated horror tropes, playing classic horror elements like monsters, ghosts, or haunted houses in a ridiculous way, often with comedical features or behaviors. Social groups in the film. Loners, as the name suggests, they tend to engage in activities alone. Most of the time, their loneliness is intentional and they have no problem with it. Friends, a collection of people who consider themselves friends, meaning they have a close personal connection, who regularly interact with each other and share similar interests or experiences, essentially forming a small, intimate social group within a large social network. Rivals, another group that a particular group directly competes with, often striving to be more successful or dominant in a shared domain, creating a dynamic where both groups are actively trying to outdo each other. Essentially, it is a group that is considered opponent or competitor within a social context. How would your product engage your audience, and how would it be distributed as a real media text? I tried to find out what Echoes in the Dark needed from a company in producing both horror and comedy, particularly in school setting. I looked around for production companies for producing films in the horror comedy genre and had track record with school-based stories or school-led project. I crossed out some companies based on their way to handle both suspense and comedic elements, as well as their resources for handling filmmaking. I chose GACS Productions because it well aligned with the film's needs, having experience in producing student films, and is known for horror comedy products. Discuss how your film would be exhibited and marketed to audiences. My project engages with audiences in various ways. One of the ways is through humor. Making the audience laugh is the goal. How the project engages, it would be through distributed as real media text by newspapers about products, even through social media like YouTube. The marketing for my audience would be posting funny and scary clips on social media. The target audience for the film Echoes in the Dark is aiming for ages 12 to 24. This audience is specifically targeted to bring light to mental health issues, as 20% of adolescents may experience mental health problems in any given year, and 50% of mental health problems are established by 14 and 75% by 24. We want to remind our audience that we see their suffering for any issues they come across. Ending their life is not the solution. Reasons why my target audience would watch this film is because their common everyday slang is involved inside this film, recognizes issues in today's society that aren't usually talked about, such as suicide, schizophrenia, psychosis, bipolar depression, and bullying. Well-known memes are also involved, and funny sounds. How did your production skills develop throughout this project? My technical skills, storytelling, and collaborative skills got better. I improved my technical skills by learning how to use the camera equipment, lighting, editing software to create more professional shots and scenes. I became better at storytelling by mastering the process of script writing, storyboarding, planning the entire production to create more creative and cohesive films. My collaboration skills by working with others, taking in feedback to make sure the production process is smoother and more successful. What I learned about the process of making films. Beginning, I learned that making film involves careful planning in the beginning, where ideas are developed, scripts are written, and pre-production tasks are completed. In the middle, I should focus on finishing the vision during filming with collaboration and adapting challenges. The end is about post-production, where editing, sound, and final adjustments are made to bring film to life and make it organized. Planning, during this stage I will work on writing the script, creating storyboards, and planning the production schedule to ensure everything will run smoothly. Editing, this process also involves syncing sound and making decisions about pacing and visual style. I carefully choose sounds to balance out the horror and comedy elements. Revising, watch the film together back as a group and discuss the footage to make sure it makes sense and make required adjustments is how I revised. Directing, as the director I guided the actors and the crew to bring life to the film. By the end of this class, I'll be a more skilled filmmaker because I now learned how to use camera equipment, lighting, and editing software like a pro. I'll be better telling stories through scripts and storyboards, and now know how to lead a team while working with others. How did you integrate technology, software, hardware, and online in this project?
I used CapCut for editing, where I moved footage, added sound effects, and changed pacing. I also use online resources to improve the script and concept. The technology used in this film, Echoes in the Dark, was an iPhone 13.
I learned that technology like CapCut helps make editing easier, and using online resources for my research helps make feedback improves my work. This here would be the before and after of me using the techniques. Here would be some pictures and videos. Here would be some pictures and videos. I also learned that CapCut can help me adjust speed, add transitions and filters, and use sound effects to match the film's tone. I also focus on cutting clips and adding text to fit the spooky and funny feel.